Welcome to another episode of 5ASIDE on beIN Sports, and we have a lot to get to today. Some really big drama with Mohamed Salah, who has been benched for 3 straight games with Liverpool. It's all getting super volatile, so we're going to talk about that situation. We also just had the official World Cup draw for the 2026 World Cup. So of course, as 5ASIDE, we got to talk about how we think the African nations will be doing in this tournament. We're also getting very close to AFCON, so we got to talk about how do we think players are going to be performing heading into the tournament. But of course, the biggest news, the most volatile we have to start with is Mohamed Salah. And it's all going downhill, isn't it, for Liverpool, who now currently sit 9th place. Just drew 3-3 with Leeds after Leeds tied it up in about the 96th minute. And Salah had quite the quote that I'm going to read off in detail for his situation, his reaction to what's going on with Liverpool. I'll be at Anfield to say goodbye before the African Cup because don't know what will happen when I'm there. And we'll be there with you in Morocco for AFCON, of course, so that you can stream exclusively on beIN Sports. But he additionally said, I couldn't believe I was on the bench for 90 minutes. It's the first time in my career. Very disappointing after everything I've done for this club. It feels like the club threw me under the bus. Someone wants to take all the blame. The club promised me a lot in the summer. Now I'm on the bench, so they can say that they kept their promises. It seems like someone in the club doesn't want me here.
It's clear that the club is trying to find solutions. You know what I mean? Within that quote, you know, it's always concerning when a player is openly speaking about the fact that there's not a relationship with the manager anymore. Puts a lot of pressure on the manager in press conferences. And, you know, if you look to it, Salah and Isak were number 1 and 2 in the Premier League top goal scorers last season. Now they're on the bench. So Liverpool's trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah, it definitely feels like we're watching a club in crisis unfold. And I feel like at those times when we see these big clubs, these big name clubs kind of go through this crisis period, either a manager leaves or a star leaves. And I think in this situation, we're going to see Salah leave the club.
You think so?
By force. I don't think he wants to. I think he has a great relationship with the city. He's obviously had so many accolades over the years. He had his best year ever the previous season. But I think like the club is sending the message that they want him out. Bench him for 90 minutes. Don't even put him on the team sheet for the next game in Europe.
Crazy.
Something's going on behind the scenes that we don't know about, that clearly Salah is like, all right, like my time might be up here. He said, I'm going to say goodbye before I head into AFCON.
It is crazy thing that for Tim to say that. Musa, your thoughts?
I mean, yeah, there's a quote that often gets referred to when we talk about the state of, you know, football from regards to like black and African footballers. You have to do you have to do twice as much to get half as far. And I think that sentiment is reflected even more and it's emphasized when it's players who represent African nations. And for all that Salah has done, all the trophies, he's still one of the most underrated players, I think, in terms of the Ballon d'Or snubs, you know, the individual accolades. So we really have to look at this AFCON that's coming up as either it's a way to kind of, you know, fall in love with football again, find his form, and maybe that helps to, you know, either the accolades, the goal scoring helps him kind of mend that relationship with Liverpool, or he just sets a fire under him and he has a great AFCON, and maybe that attracts some suitors to take him away from Liverpool, take him out of that situation, to pounce on it. So there's a lot of different ways it could go, but a lot of uncertainty happening at Liverpool right now.
And I do think that one thing that a lot of people aren't really talking about is the fact that like Mo Salah never like speaks on these types of things, right? Like throughout his career, he's always been like the positive, smiley. We see him on the holidays with his family. He doesn't come out and start drama in the press.
He's not a
so if he is like this season, all the drama that's unfolded, the times that he's come out and spoken, it has to be because like I trust that it's because something genuinely wrong is happening, or he really feels like people are against him. Otherwise, like, and I think people need to give him more credit because this is not like a usual thing that he does. So if he's coming out and saying all this, there must be a reason.
For sure. And then lastly with Salah, I mean, where do we think he goes if he leaves? And then what do we think he's going to do at AFCON?
He's going back to North Africa, man. It's going to be nice and warm. Chop some good food. He'll do well in AFCON. Yeah. Like Musi said, it'll be a way to fall in love with the game.
I think he's going to have an unbelievable AFCON, maybe like one to remember sort of thing, just because of how poor this season has been. And I think he wants to follow up what he did last season, that kind of heat and intensity with his country. And that just hasn't been what he's been able to do with the club to start the year. So I think we'll have a really good AFCON. And in terms of him leaving, I can see him going back to Serie A, where he first made a name for himself with Fiorentina in Roma. I think that could be a place for him to refurbish his career if they force him out. I don't think they should, but if they really are saying you gotta go, I think that's probably the most likely destination as of now.
I agree that I think he'll have a phenomenal tournament. I don't think that Egypt will have a phenomenal tournament.
Okay.
I think they could actually go out around like quarterfinals. But yeah, I think individually he'll be great. I don't think this will happen, but I would love for him to return to Chelsea. We could use that.
Well, speaking of spectacles, we had quite the spectacle for the World Cup draw, which has now been officially announced for the 2026 World Cup, of course, taking place here in North America, stateside. So we're going to talk about our predictions for the African nations in this World Cup that have qualified thus far. So we'll start off first with South Africa in Group A, who are playing the opening match against the host nation, Mexico, similar to when they hosted the World Cup in 2010. Also joined by Korea, as well as a UEFA playoff team. Thoughts on South Africa's chances here? A lot of people don't have them qualifying, but what do y'all think? I think it might be tough. I think it might be tough. It's good to see them back. I like the trajectory they're in.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to get through this one, though.
It's literally not a knock. Well, it's not a knock to Bafana.
Yeah.
I think they have a great team. They topped their group in AFCON qualifier.
Over Nigeria?
Yeah. Or they topped their group in CAF qualifiers.
CAF qualifiers, yep.
But I think Mexico and Korea are going to be two tough teams to play against. But I can't see them finishing over Mexico. Like, I could see a Korea, Bafana,
yeah,
Mexico,
second place,
qualify. Yeah,
and 8 third-place teams will advance, so there is that opportunity.
Yeah.
Let's keep it going. We have Group C, which is one of the most talked about matchups because we have Morocco playing Brazil, also in the same group as your Haiti, and then Scotland, who now has quite a talented team with the likes of Scott McTominay. Morocco, I mean, Musa, you got the jerseys behind you. How do you think they're going to do?
I mean, you can't knock Brazil out of World Cup. I think, unfortunately, they do take the top of that group, but Morocco will really set the tone for what African nations should be doing at the World Cup. I think they might be able to even take a point against Brazil, but I think they'll, comfortably and confidently finish second.
Yeah, I think they're going to go through. I see no way they wouldn't go through after being semifinalists. The third place buffer, I think, certainly helps them a lot, and they'll be just fine. Group E, we have Côte d'Ivoire, the current AFCON champions, joined by Curaçao, Germany, and Ecuador. This is a tough group, but I think they can go through. Josh, what do you think?
No, for sure. The opportunity's on there. And as you're saying, like, even the fact that the third place team can get there.
Yep.
I will say, you just have to secure, one win.
Yeah.
Don't lose your first match.
All right, next up, Group F, Netherlands, Japan, and Tunisia, as well as the UEFA playoff team. Tunisia, a bit underrated, I would say, kind of coming out of Africa right now. Had a very good qualifying campaign. Not too many people are going to give them a chance here, but what do y'all think?
If there's going to be an African team that I'll count out, I'm sorry, but it's probably Tunisia.
Don't disagree.
In this situation.
And then we have Egypt, who we spoke about with Mohamed Salah. It was joined by Belgium, Iran, and New Zealand. I think they got a chance. I think they'll go through.
Yeah.
I think they'll go through.
First or second.
Yep. Cabo Verde has a tough one, playing Spain, Uruguay, Saudi Arabia. Maybe they can get the better of. What an achievement for them to qualify and getting first, of course, in their group. No playoff or anything. I don't see them having a chance in this one.
No, I mean, I think if they can get the win against Saudi and then they're able to,
they have to be.
But if they can sneak a draw against Uruguay, who's kind of been a little shaky, they just had the crazy loss against.
Of course, but like,
yes, I mean, yeah, but it's the World Cup. Anything can happen.
It's
so
true.
I
think
Cabo Verde, mad love to Cabo, the Cape Verdeans we know out here, but I think they can sneak it. I think they can sneak in third place.
I think it's the beauty of Copa do Mundo.
Yeah.
It's also the beauty of also not having much history in the tournament.
Yeah.
So even like trying to play against them, you might not know everything to expect.
It's a fact.
Senegal versus France. What a match in Group I. They're also joined by Norway, who is in incredible form. Haaland is scoring against everybody, every single game. We'll also have one of the FIFA Intercontinental playoff teams. Can Senegal get through in this very tough group? I think so. I don't know what position, but I think they can get through.
People are referencing the 2002, matchup between Senegal and France. They'll pull it off in our backyard.
Scenes in Paris, bro.
Yeah, I was going to bring that matchup too. There's a lot of history between these two countries. Obviously, France being a former colonizer of Senegal. And then in the 2002 World Cup, Diop scored like a last-minute winner.
Legendary.
To defeat France. And then France went on to draw and lose the next two matches. So they actually went out early that tournament.
After winning in 98 and 2. Yeah, which is crazy.
And there was a lot of discussion because a lot of the players of African descent on that team, Thuram, Patrick Vieira, etc. Yeah, exactly.
Many more.
A lot of them got a lot of flack from the French countrymen, basically saying like they're not really French.
After you just won them a World Cup.
Exactly.
Crazy.
So there's a lot of history there. That's going to be an exciting matchup. I think Senegal.
Moving on, Group J, Argentina, Algeria, Austria, Jordan. I think Algeria goes through.
I think they go through.
Austria's tough. I really rate Austria. They had a really great Euros. I don't know if they make it through, honestly.
And lastly, Group L, Joshua Adjei-Jamfi.
Of course, man.
You're joined by Croatia, England, and Panama for your country of Ghana. What you saying?
Come to the table.
We're joined, and together we go to the next round.
Next round?
Of course.
I'm with you, bro. I'm with you.
You know what I mean?
It's going to be very tough, but I think y'all get third.
People are highlighting the matchup against England and Toronto, which is going to be obviously scenes for the Ghanaian community out there.
That's actually a lit. That's an underratedly lit game.
I didn't know they were there.
I'm there. I'm not seeing, if y'all not there, y'all not seeing me.
Yeah. Lastly, we are only 2 weeks away from AFCON, and we will be there on the ground in Morocco covering the tournament for beIN Sports. We are super, super excited for this opportunity.
Yes, sir.
But as we're getting closer, how do we think players are going to be performing ahead of AFCON? Are players going harder for their club to kind of prove themselves and get in shape? Are guys easing up? There's a lot of injuries going around the football world right now. What do y'all think is kind of the mental state of maybe the likes of Semenyo and Kudus, or, these ballers across these different nations, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question because FIFA recently pushed back the date that players have to report to AFCON.
Really close.
Literally like 6 days before.
Insane.
December 15th. The tournament starts on the 21st. And so, in my opinion, the players are probably feeling like they just got to go hard and then just go straight into it. Like, there's no break.
There's no break.
Because, like, a week before you have to report for duty, you're going to be playing against Manchester
I think
City.
You want to feel good. I don't think you want to try to not get hurt.
Yeah.
I think you just want to be
with the rhythm.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, a good performance can, be a great confidence boost before you go into AFCON. So maybe your mentality is, I'm going to go hard. I'm going to try to get a goal, get myself on the score sheet, have that feel-good moment, ride the momentum into AFCON.
For sure. Well, once again, we will be on the ground in Morocco covering this tournament. We are super excited for it. But once again, 5ASIDE every Thursday, 5 p.m. on beIN Sports. See you next week. Peace.